business owners are always looking for an advantage, ways to improve processes, and proven growth strategies.
We found there's a 4-step cycle to follow. Assessment, identification, testing, then implementation.
Yes, indeed. But here's the question. What do you assess?
Who do you identify?
And how do you test?
In this video, we'll share context and details for each step.
Let's dive in. And so one of the things that we always look at in business is, where are our gaps?
Like, where are things not flowing the way it's supposed to flow?
Where are there bottlenecks that throw off timelines and mess up client deliverables?
You've got to look at your business and see what's working and what's not working.
Doesn't matter your genre, your niche, what service you provide, what product you create. You've got to understand in that whole timeline of going from concept or order, right,
from the client
to actual delivery, what does that process look like?
Yes.
And where can I improve?
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
assessment.
Yes, that is assessment.
That's assessment in a nutshell. And so that assessment phase is probably one that needs no introduction, doesn't need any further explanation. Everybody in business, I've found that business owners are constantly assessing, constantly looking at, man, I wonder if I could do that differently. Could I make do that for less, right? Could I find it cheaper?
Can I tweak that thing so that I don't spend as much time on that thing?
Or spend as much money on that thing? And how can I deliver a better product, less time, and differentiate myself from my competitors? That's a huge piece. The assessment piece is where I think business owners live. We live in the assessment phase.
Yes, we do.
But what we do not do is the next phase.
It's the next phase.
The next phase. And what is the next phase? It is identifying, identifying what others are doing. Looking to see what other business owners in your field or area of expertise, and see what are they doing that's working, that has been successful, that I could possibly integrate into my business and maybe also be successul as well. What platforms are they using? What services? Is there a process or a workflow? I may or may not be guilty of buying a product from a competitor just to see the flow of what did they do? What's after this step? Oh, that's what they do. Ooh, that's really good. As a content
you get
creator,
some really great ideas.
You've got to identify. You've got to identify what's giving your competitors a leg up and an advantage. Don't just stay in your lane.
You've got to. A good thing I see that Kirk does, he is constantly like checking out other YouTube channels to see what are they doing that is really working for them, and how can I implement that into possibly my channel. So I love that he's constantly researching and seeing what can be done. And
the truth of the matter is, there's more people out there to serve than there is enough of us actually doing the service. And so even on Kanik's side of the business for web design, partnering with others, I don't want to start calling names because I'll get in trouble, but partnering with others, designers, copywriters, even other web designers, right? Graphic designers, photographers. These are all wraparound services that a website will require, but understanding how they're meeting the needs, that identification piece sometimes can be, that's the next level. Assessment is where you've like, okay, I'm having a problem here. And I get that a lot of us live in that space, like, dang, I'm having this problem. And you're putting Band-Aids on it. You've got chewing gum, you've got rubber band, you've got duct tape. Like
all the things.
A hammer does not belong in the studio. But how do you come up with a fix, a solution? And sometimes it will come from doing some study. Sometimes it comes from getting a business coach, but a lot of times it will come from assessing what your competitors are doing. Do not leave that part out. That is a critical component of this proven process that we're sharing with you today.
And I feel like some people might feel a little uncomfortable doing that. Don't, because they're looking at you too.
Oh, yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
They're absolutely looking at you.
They are absolutely looking at your content as well. Let that be known. They're looking at your content too.
So what are the competitors doing? What are they doing? What are they doing that's working for them? But here's the third step in the cycle, right? We talked about assessment so far. We've already talked about identification. Many people get stuck at the assessment phase, never getting to the identification phase. But if you identify and jump over this step to implementation, you may find yourself in a problem. And so this third step, before you get to implementation, is called test.
So vital.
Super critical.
Test and test again.
Test and test again. The truth of the matter is, what you have found that somebody else is doing that is working may be working for them, but may not work for you. And so the testing phase kind of has its own little like internal cycle of this whole process. So you want to make sure that you have identified some metrics and key performance indicators and maybe just like a small portion of the business, even just like one client
just to test it to see
it on.
Okay, let's see, did this work well? Did it go the way I wanted it to go? Was it beneficial? And then be like, okay, that worked. So now I can kind of add it on to the business as maybe a service offering or maybe a product.
Absolutely. And here's a cheat code for the person. If it's a client scenario, like in Kanique's case where she does web design, let's say she finds another process. She's like, okay, for this client, I'm going to test this out. You can let the client know that you're testing something out.
Absolutely. I say test. Tell them
that you're testing something. Give them a discount on the fee because they're part of this process, and let them know that the discount, only thing that you require is for them to give you feedback. And
that's
then,
so good.
oh my gosh, you have this whole cheat code built in because with the feedback, let's say the feedback's bad, well, now you can test it again. Making those improvements. But if the feedback is good, and you're going to implement this for your business, you already have testimonials built in.
That's good.
Come on.
My goodness. I didn't even, come on now.
Come on.
That's good.
That's it right there. The test phase is its own little microcosm of the process.
What I really like about that is that you're letting the client know, they're aware that this is you testing. So if something didn't go quite as planned, they have that understanding already. So if something went wrong, they're not going to be like too upset because they also got the discount.
They got the discount.
So that covers your bases. Okay.
But here's the other thing too. I know for a fact, like raise your hand, put a 1 in the chat, put a hand raise emoji as you're watching this in the comments section. I know for a fact that most, if not all, businesses have clients who cannot afford their price. Like I can think of one lady right now who would like to have me do something for her, but she cannot afford my full price. And so if I'm getting ready to implement something new and I want a guinea pig, I can call her and be like, hey, I know you can't afford my regular price, but for a discounted fee, would you come through this beta program, this testing thing that I'm doing?
That's good.
And you already have that built in, and all you got to say to the person, in my case, it's this lady, I just need your feedback.
No, that's good because I went through something like that. Pitching, how you pitch yourself to news companies, stuff like that. And she opened this better coaching program, and I went through the entire thing, and she said, the only thing I ask is
feedback.
Just give me some feedback.
Give me feedback.
And that thing is worth its weight in gold, y'all. I can't afford her, y'all. I can't.
Come on.
But she was willing to take this on. She only opened it up to a few people, and I was able to get in, and man, it was worth it. But that's so smart.
These are the things that we want this space to be about. It's the Incubator's couch where we can kind of hash things out. We can kind of brainstorm a little bit, where we can kind of throw some things against the wall, see what sticks. For many, the entrepreneurial journey is one that is lonely. It's one that is difficult. You feel like you're climbing up the rough side of the mountain with no rope. But we want you to know that there are some tried and true processes. And we hope that this channel and this space is a place where you can come and feel like, man, somebody gets me. Somebody understands what I'm going through.
Absolutely.
Of course, the final phase we touched on already, saying don't skip over testing to implementation, but that is to implement. And you want to be very intentional about how you're implementing. You want to be intentional about, your implementation process. And I actually like to call these like mini launches. It's a mini launch. Like we're getting ready to launch this new process or this new offer or this new thing, like a new way that we're bringing people through our ecosystem. And when you think of it from that perspective, it kind of gains some momentum some excitement.
It does.
Even within your team internally, even if you're a team of one, it's like, okay, we're launching something new. We've put it in the lab. We've tested it out, and
it's working.
Yeah, it's working. It's giving us some new results. Boom, let's launch this thing again.
And then you can start sharing it with friends and family. If it's a product or a service, don't matter. And get some excitement, some buzz around it.
Absolutely.
Post it on social media, put it on your website. This is major.
It's a whole new thing.
It is major.
And so that cycle, right? We talked about assessment. We talked about identification. We talked about testing, implementation. Here's the bonus, y'all. The bonus, okay?
Is it really a bonus?
Well, we told them it's a 4-part cycle, but this is a bonus. The bonus is you got to start the process over.
You get to start it all over.
You get to start the process over. And I'll be honest, man, don't turn into the mailman. You know, they say going postal is because the mail just keeps on coming. There's like this mental load that mailmen and mailwomen have. Don't go postal. What I'm saying is, think of it instead of the perspective of I have to start over, think of it from the perspective of I get to start over. Oh.
Like if you are intentional about growing your business, this is something you should naturally get into the rhythm of doing. It's just like naturally, what am I doing next?
What am I doing next?
This step, back at it, back at it. It's got to be like
that. I've refined this part of my process, and so that bottleneck is gone, and that issue has been sorted out, and I'm no longer struggling in that area, but this area over here, let me go back to the beginning. All right, let me assess. Let me understand where I'm at. Let me figure out what the components are, some of the pieces. And I'll be clear, sometimes in assessment, you recognize what the issue is.
True.
And you can solve it. But every now and again, you need to once you get out of assessment, identify what others are doing around you. Bring in some of those pieces, cobble it together, make it fit for your plan, for your environment, and then test it. So this is a cycle that we know has worked for us, and we hope that it'll be beneficial to many of you that are out there.
Yeah.
That's it. This is the entire thing, and we're excited about it. Well, listen, fam, Incubator's Couch, right? The content version that we are sharing with you today is video explanations and resources for business owners and entrepreneurs. We like to say, just like you.
Come on. So we want you to subscribe to be notified when we have more content, or check out the playlist to watch our signature program, The Incubator's Couch.
Come on. First Mondays of the month at 7 p.m. on this channel. It's called The Incubator's Couch. We'll see you in the next one, fam. Later.